On October 10, 2025, former President Donald Trump stunned the world by announcing a 100% tariff on all Chinese imports, on top of existing tariffs. This would push taxes on many Chinese products to over 130%, a dramatic escalation in the U.S.-China trade dispute. The measure is set to take effect November 1st, giving businesses little time to react. Just months ago, both countries had lowered tariffs, offering hope for stability. Now, that truce is shattered. Trump's move is a direct response to a new Chinese policy, reigniting fears of a full-blown economic conflict. The announcement comes just before a major international summit, raising the stakes for global diplomacy. Alongside tariffs, the U.S. will also restrict technology exports to China, targeting critical software. This two-pronged strategy aims to isolate Beijing economically and technologically. The world is bracing for a new, more confrontational chapter in U.S.-China relations. Tariffs are taxes placed on goods that cross international borders, specifically on products imported from other countries. They are one of the oldest tools in the world of trade, used by governments for centuries to influence the flow of goods and protect their own economies. By making foreign products more expensive for consumers, tariffs can shift buying habits. When you see a higher price tag on an imported item, it's often because a tariff has been added, making domestic alternatives more attractive. For example, imagine a $20,000 car imported from abroad. If the U.S. government imposes a 25% tariff, that car now costs $25,000. The extra $5,000 doesn't go to the car maker. It goes straight to the government as tax revenue. Tariffs can serve two main purposes. They protect domestic industries from foreign competition and raise money for the government. By making imports pricier, local businesses may have a better chance to grow and hire more workers. But tariffs aren't just about economics, they're also powerful political tools. In this case, they're being used as a weapon in a high-stakes political standoff between major world powers. Trump's proposed 100% tariff would double the price of all Chinese goods in the U.S., making everyday items from China suddenly unaffordable for many American families and businesses. The goal is to pressure China to change its trade practices by hurting its export-driven economy. If Chinese goods become too expensive, American companies and consumers might look elsewhere, reducing China's profits. But trade wars rarely end quickly or cleanly. Countries often retaliate with their own tariffs, escalating the conflict and making negotiations even more difficult. Ultimately, it's American consumers and businesses who pay the price, as higher costs ripple through the supply chain. Everyday items, electronics, clothing, even groceries, can become much more expensive, straining household budgets. Furniture, appliances, and other essentials may see price hikes, forcing families to make tough choices or delay purchases. Tariffs may seem like an abstract policy, but their impact is felt directly in our wallets and in the choices we make every day. Trade policy isn't just about governments or big corporations. It shapes the daily lives of millions of ordinary people, from workers to families to small business owners. The stakes in this tariff battle are deeply personal, not just political. The outcome will affect what we buy, how much we pay, and even the jobs we depend on. Trump's tariff threat was triggered by China's move to restrict exports of rare earth minerals, a vital resource for global tech and defense. These minerals are the backbone of everything from smartphones and electric vehicles to advanced weaponry and renewable energy systems. Without them, the world's most cutting-edge technologies would grind to a halt, making rare earths a strategic asset in the global economy. Starting December 1st, foreign companies will need special licenses to export these materials from China, giving Beijing control over who gets access. This new licensing regime means that every shipment, every contract, and every business deal involving rare earths will be subject to Chinese approval, adding layers of uncertainty for international companies. The rules cover not just raw minerals, but any product containing even a trace of Chinese rare earths, or made with Chinese processing technology. This sweeping scope means that even finished goods, components, or subassemblies that have passed through China's supply chain could be caught up in the restrictions. This extends China's influence far beyond its borders, affecting global supply chains. Companies around the world now face the risk of sudden shortages, production delays, and increased costs as they scramble to secure alternative sources or navigate the new rules. Critically, China will automatically deny exports for military use, directly targeting U.S. and allied defense industries. This move threatens to undermine the production of advanced fighter jets, missile guidance systems, and other high-tech military hardware that rely on rare earth elements. By weaponizing rare earths, Beijing is raising the stakes from economic rivalry to national security. The message is clear. Access to these critical materials can be used as leverage in broader geopolitical disputes, making rare earths a new front in the ongoing power struggle. Unlike tariffs, this move restricts the flow of essential materials, not just their price. The impact is immediate and tangible. Factories could be forced to halt production, and entire industries may be left scrambling for alternatives. With a near monopoly on rare earths, China can disrupt industries worldwide. From Silicon Valley to European automakers, the ripple effects could be felt across the globe, threatening jobs, innovation, and economic stability. The rare earth squeeze is a powerful form of economic retaliation, sending shockwaves through markets and boardrooms alike. As the world scrambles to respond, the true cost of relying on a single supplier for such vital resources becomes painfully clear. Rare earth elements are the backbone of modern technology, quietly powering our daily lives in ways most people never realize. From the smartphone in your pocket to the electric vehicles revolutionizing transportation, and even the advanced military hardware that keeps nations secure, rare earths are everywhere. These 17 elements, with names like neodymium, dysprosium, and lanthanum, are essential for making devices smaller, faster, and more efficient. While not truly rare in the Earth's crust, extracting and refining them is a complex, expensive, and environmentally challenging process. That's why China has become the undisputed leader, dominating both mining and refining. Today, China produces over 70% of the world's raw rare earth materials, and an astonishing 90% of all processed rare earth products, giving it a near monopoly on the global supply chain. These elements are crucial for manufacturing powerful magnets used in everything from headphones and hard drives to the motors that drive electric cars. They also create the vibrant colors in your TV and smartphone displays, and are absolutely essential for the green energy revolution. Wind turbines, for example, and the motors inside electric vehicles, both rely on rare earth magnets to operate efficiently and reliably. China's overwhelming control gives it enormous leverage over the world's technology industries and the global transition to clean energy. Any disruption in supply can send shockwaves through international markets. For the United States, the stakes are even higher. Rare earths are critical for advanced military systems, missiles, fighter jets, and secure communications all depend on them. The F-35 fighter jet alone requires nearly half a ton of rare earth materials, making a steady supply vital for national defense. China's export restrictions have exposed a major vulnerability in the U.S. defense supply chain, raising concerns about security and self-sufficiency. This dependency didn't happen overnight. It's the result of decades of shifting global trade and industrial priorities, and it's a challenge that can't be quickly or easily reversed, even with new investments and policy changes. Rare earths are far more than just a trade issue. They have become a strategic asset, shaping the balance of power in technology and defense. In today's world, whoever controls rare earths controls the future of technology, clean energy, and national security. The diplomatic fallout has been swift and tense. Trump, frustrated by China's rare earth move, questioned the value of meeting President Xi at the upcoming APEC summit. His mixed signals, first suggesting the meeting was off, then backtracking, have left the world guessing. Beijing, meanwhile, defends its export controls as necessary for national security, calling U.S. actions aggressive and protectionist. The rhetoric on both sides is hardening, with little sign of compromise. As dialogue breaks down, the risk of miscalculation and deeper conflict grows. News of the renewed trade war sent global markets tumbling. Wall Street saw its worst day in months, with tech stocks hit hardest. Investors fled to safe havens like gold and U.S. Treasury bonds, signaling deep anxiety. For businesses, the prospect of 100% tariffs is a nightmare. Profit margins evaporate, costs soar, and tough choices loom. Many must decide whether to absorb losses or pass costs to consumers, risking sales. U.S. companies exporting to China also face retaliation, threatening farmers, manufacturers, and tech firms. The cycle of tariffs and counter-tariffs disrupts planning, freezes investment, and endangers jobs. The uncertainty is paralyzing, with ripple effects across industries. The trade war's impact is immediate and severe for both markets and Main Street. For ordinary Americans, a 100% tariff means higher prices on countless everyday goods, clothing, electronics, toys, and more. Even U.S.-assembled products often rely on Chinese parts, so costs rise across the board. Families will feel the squeeze as their purchasing power shrinks. Job losses are a real risk. Businesses facing higher costs may cut workers, while exporters lose access to the Chinese market. The pain spreads beyond one sector, threatening the broader economy. Uncertainty also chills investment and hiring, slowing growth. Major life decisions, buying a home, starting a business, become riskier. The trade war's consequences are personal, touching every household. The world faces a crossroads: escalation or negotiation. If both sides follow through, U.S. tariffs on November 1st, China's rare earth ban on December 1st, the trade war will reach new heights. Retaliation could spiral, breaking supply chains and risking a global recession. Decoupling the U.S. and Chinese economies would be costly and disruptive. The alternative is de-escalation. The upcoming APEC summit offers a slim chance for compromise. Both sides face pressure, market turmoil, legal challenges, and economic pain to find a diplomatic off-ramp. A deal might involve delaying tariffs in exchange for easing export controls. The choices made now will shape the global economy for years. The stakes couldn't be higher. This isn't just a trade spat. It's a clash of global powers with far-reaching consequences. Trump's tariff threat and China's rare earth squeeze expose vulnerabilities in technology, defense, and everyday life. The outcome will affect prices, jobs, and economic security worldwide. The world watches as deadlines approach, hoping for diplomacy over confrontation. Decisions in Washington and Beijing will shape our future. This crisis is a stark reminder of our interconnected world and how fragile it can be. The next chapter is unwritten, but its impact will be felt by all.